everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that's bigger than the big game. That's right. We got millions of dollars worth of commercials all throughout this show. We got celebrities such as Mustard from the Kendrick Lamar Mustard. We've got the Heinz Pittsburgh Stadium, which I don't think it actually is called the Heinz anymore. We've got LeBron James and his son. We've got the Looney Tunes. They're back in action, and so are we. I'm your host, as always, is the man. No, I'm tired. I woke up at 3 a.m. I'm your host, Ryan Nightseed. With me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing on this fine Sunday morning?
Terrible. Terrible. Awful. My chest hurts. There's 8 inches of snow outside. Yeah. I fell this week and was hurt all week.
Oh no.
I am doing terrible.
Oh no, what happened here? Did you fall because of the snow or an ice, or was
because of ice? Yes. It was great.
Boy.
Hurt a lot. So yeah, it's been a great week, as you could tell. But I'm here. I'm here to give some daunting takes on the sake of my wrestling fandom. Trust me, I got some things loaded up for today.
Yeah.
Wind it up, ready to go. As you could see with the opening image, graphic design is in fact my passion. And I am ready to rock and talk about whatever you have in store. I mean, I wrote what's on the title, so I know what's in store. But like, I don't know. I still don't know what's ever in store for this show.
No, well, neither do we. I think we always have a roadmap generally also for this show, but this show prides itself on its tangents.
The people at home should know, like I've always done this for my own shows. It's just bullet points. I don't have talking points. We're just doing bullet points. Bullet points of this is the general subject.
Mm-hmm.
Go off.
Go off. As the kids say, go off, King.
So that's
Just to be clear, so you fell on ice. Are you okay? You didn't break anything?
Fine. I'm here.
Well, yeah. You could be sitting. You could be sitting and have a full leg cast underneath.
Actually, I stand every podcast.
Oh, my apologies, sir. What a reveal if you were like, yeah, I'm standing this entire time.
Yeah, you don't see the chair behind me at all.
or like
it's a stand thing.
Or just the wall level, like that wall sconce thing, whatever's behind you.
No, I'm fine.
Perfect.
I was in pain. I mean, my chest hurts today, but that has nothing to do with that. Unfortunately,
that's just your chest hurts because you're excited about shoveling 8 inches of snow later today.
Oh, dude, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
This is the second time it's snowing this week. It's snowing 2 more times the rest of the week.
Would you like to know what temperature it is outside for me?
No.
It's sunny old 62 degrees in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hate you.
I'm actually gonna cut the grass later today because the grass is starting to grow back a little bit. It's February.
Man. This is not the way to start this show. Now I'm on edge.
What, you hating me?
Yeah, now I'm on edge. Like this is some bullshit.
Well, hopefully we can turn that edge
it's 24 degrees, 8 inches of snow. It's going to snow another 16 inches this week.
Well, Scotty, hopefully we can turn that edge into some cope because we got some great wrestling discussion for you all today. Really, I think a jam-packed show for you all. Big-time shows coming up in the wrestling world that we're going to discuss with you all today. Hope we all, everybody listening, is having a good week. Maybe they're excited for the Super Bowl, or maybe they're from around the globe and they don't care about the Super Bowl. Which is fine, that's.
I would love to know how people feel about the Super Bowl outside, because it's a worldwide watch game, but most people don't give a shit about American football, so it's fascinating.
Oh yeah, there's much disdain versus just the word American football. So I won't blame. So yeah, I guess shout out to international listeners. I know they're out there. Let us know in the chat. Like, do you have any opinions on the Super
Do you watch the
Bowl.
big game? We can't call it the Super Bowl. We have to
Oh,
call
my
it the big
apologies.
game.
We'll get sued by big NFL if we do that.
Running gimmick in the world.
Andy Reid is gonna break down my door and he's gonna
Everyone's gonna call it the big game.
Yeah, the big game. Yes. Anyways, well, we got a couple big games kind of for shows happening this week or wrestling. We're going to talk some WWE releases happened some this week. Champion Carnival got announced this week. The participants got announced this morning, so we'll talk about that. Some interesting stuff there as well. AEW Grand Slam Australia, New Japan, New Beginning Osaka. Noah's got a big time show, Star Navigation Premium. So basically, title matches galore this week. So definitely stuff to look forward to. Colin Matthew in the chat couldn't give two F's about the fake football game. LOL. So yeah, there's the disdain against the word football.
That was the case, but I don't know. Some people just like the game. Some people, I don't know. I want to know if people just like use it as an excuse to celebrate, but it is on ungodly hour for a lot of people. So
yeah, that's also totally fair. Yeah, I mean, for the past couple of years, I haven't been keeping track of football too much. So the past couple of years, the Super Bowl is just like commercial time and halftime show. Yeah, but this year, like as an Eagles
this time,
as an Eagles supporter, I have invested interest in this game. Plus,
I'm rooting for the Eagles tonight.
Yeah. Plus, as a Kendrick Lamar fan, I'm excited for the halftime show. So, and then the commercials.
Kendrick Lamar fans.
Yeah. So yeah. So I think, and then plus with the commercials, they're always still sort of fun to a certain extent nowadays.
I'm watching tonight to watch some movie trailers. That's why I'm here.
Do we have any idea what movie trailers gonna be in this one?
Nope. Everyone's just guessing, but
I would have guessed a Fantastic Four, but they already did that.
They didn't wait. They said we need to show the thing now.
I hate people showing me their thing now. Anyways, let's discuss. Let's start off. Terrible joke, very inappropriate joke. I'm sorry.
Awful joke. Dude.
Let's start off with AEW Grand Slam Australia
taking
place Saturday, I believe, at some time after the All-Star NBA game. After
the weekend, All-Star weekend. The game's on Sunday, I think.
Oh, wait, hold on. It's after the All-Star weekend? I thought it was still going to be Saturday.
So it's after like the bum-ass dunk contest that no one cares about.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so a big problem, obviously, going into this show is the utter changes that have happened in the billing of what the show was. I recall the show being a Max exclusive when it got announced in a big time arena. And then it slowly but surely became just basically the Collision replacement for TNT this week at a smaller arena, still, solid, I guess, but smaller arena in Brisbane, Australia. And now it's following the, because of all the All-Star, NBA All-Star stuff. So it's been very confusing. People, I guess, are probably still confused. I can't imagine this will do good in the ratings, despite it being moved around all the time. But
all right, so the people that are wondering, I've done the math for everyone.
Oh, please.
So there's 3 events on All-Star Saturday night now. There used to be more, but that doesn't matter. There's 3 events, okay? So each one will probably take like about an hour. So you're probably getting an 11 p.m. start for this show.
Oof. On Saturday?
Yeah. Essentially a whole day after it happens.
I guess we should say EST.
Yeah. So it's fine for people on the West Coast. But if you are someone looking forward to this show, it's not looking good for you. Because it is, and that's a safe estimate. Could be a little bit earlier. Could be a little bit. I don't think it will be later. 11 feels like the good
solid time
assumption, but it's pretty terrible that you have to wait for this to end. I think because it's supposed to be one of their bigger events, and it's just tossed on at a random time.
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of it also is like I
Good
think
thing it's not in a stadium anymore.
yeah, the confusion about the start time and everything is really not great. But I think there's a little bit for me in my interpretation, Scotty, of like a little bit of a mountain out of a molehill sort of situation. Like at the end of the day, it's still going to be
No.
airing on television and it's still going to be a thing, right?
Sure.
Moving, not to say that like moving from a big arena to a small arena is a bad thing. I think that is a bad
That's
thing.
not great.
That's not what I'm talking about when I say mountain out of a molehill. I think a little bit of like, oh, what time is it? Oh, it's gonna be after this. Oh, they fucked it up. All these sort of things. Yeah, they fucked it up. That is on AEW for fucking all this stuff up. That's on them for sure.
Admittedly, my
But
favorite
like,
part of this was that they announced a time originally.
yeah,
That was my favorite part.
I think to me, like, I think like we said, we have a lot of international listeners to the show. I think they would be more than okay watching a show at a more reasonable time, even if it's just 2 hours later,
Sure.
3 hours later for them. Because I feel like a little bit of it's like a very American centric response of like
Mm. You
this
know what I would have done?
this is way too late. How dare they? It should be at 8 p.m. prime time. I'm not going to
My
stay up till
idea,
11.
my idea always has been to put it on Max on demand, video on demand, and then air it at this time.
Yeah,
I
you're,
always thought that would have been better.
you're saying like like put on Max at like 8 p.m. or whatever. Well,
Yeah,
I guess
whatever. It's
the
gonna be
question is.
done hours before.
Is the All-Star game airing on Max as well? Do we know that?
I'm sure it is, yeah.
So
But
that's probably what they wanted to go
but
up against.
I don't know. You could but it's done in Australia. You could put it up literally when it happens
Mhm.
if you wanted to, and then just be like, "Oh, it's airing this night if you wanna watch it here." Like,
Yeah. I think it's a little bit on Max. I think it's a little bit on AEW. I think there's a lot more on Max than people would like to say, but that's besides the point. That could just be me being an AEW defender, a freakazoid, if you will.
well, you are.
But I think to be fair to AEW, I think a lot of this has to come down to also Max and miscommunication. Because I
Oh,
think at
it's
the end
just
of the day,
yeah, it's just bad.
a big part of this is miscommunication on their end.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's besides the point. The show itself, I think,
That's the preview,
looks.
everyone.
Yeah, that's the show.
We're just talking about the time.
The show itself, I don't know, Scotty. I think this looks pretty good. I think a big mistake they did in the marketing, obviously, and not being able to do a bigger arena is, I think if they announced this card months in advance, they could have done better because this card to me looks pretty good. What do you think about AEW Grand Slam Australia happening this weekend?
It's definitely an arena show. No
Mm-hmm.
world title match. So I feel like once the stadium switched, maybe the full mindset behind the matches switched. Still a very strong card. I think one that probably excites people. I know obviously the big tag match on there, not the one with the world champion, is exciting a lot of people, and that's kind of the selling point. Add in the homecoming matches for multiple wrestlers on the roster. Should be a good show. I'm hoping the crowd's loud and boisterous. That's kind of what's going to make this show. That's kind of what makes most AEW shows at this point. People talk about like this week how both Dynamite and Collision were good, and I was like, well, crowds made noise, so that was a big part of it. I think a crowd making noise can make most shows good
Yeah.
because I mean, when they're silent and you just have good wrestling, it's like, all right, this is a good match, but who cares, type stuff. Especially in America, I feel that way. So hopefully, I don't know how ticket sales are going for this show. I don't really care. But hopefully it's a packed arena and it's loud and this card gets the respect it deserves.
Yeah, I fully agree. I suspect that it will do well. I didn't look up WrestleTix either
I mean,
because
technically it's already a failure because they moved stadiums. I understand that. But
yes.
now we're treating it as something different. So
Yes. We will have the discussion on the attendance and everything, I guess, when the show does in fact happen. But yes, it is to a certain extent a failure because they had to move to a smaller arena. But the show itself, I think it looks solid enough for what it is, right?
Yeah.
If maybe, I guess that's sort of a chicken egg situation, was that if
Sure.
they were in a bigger arena, maybe this card would have been even bigger. Maybe
It
we
seems
would.
like it's sold out most based on the website.
That's good. So maybe if they added a full-on world title match, maybe that.
Sure.
Well, I don't know about world title match right now, but
No, not with this. Not with that story. I will. One other thing I'll add in. I did talk to like some people I know that are either familiar with Australia, know Australia, and they said, "Why are they running Brisbane?" So there's
yeah,
that
I
too.
heard that too. That being in Brisbane is a little bit of the
Yeah.
situation.
Which,
Um,
by the way, people said when WWE ran Perth as well. So people are continuously confused at why are we running these
yeah,
specific places.
I'm gonna guess. I don't know, Scotty. My guess is gonna be probably the city is offering them money to come and do this arena. I mean, that's probably
Oh,
why they got
without a
Perth.
doubt. Still though, like it's
Yeah,
funny. If
yeah.
had they done Melbourne Stadium, which probably is a bit much because it's probably a gigantic stadium they have there.
Hmm.
Um, you would have been more successful, but this has been a fascinating show to follow in terms of it felt like it just kind of switched from stadium to arena in quietness, and obviously the way it's been handled for TV and all this stuff. And it's also like AEW's kind of been looking past it with Revolution, but not, but kinda. So it's been like, all right, we have this show. We just kind of, I don't know.
Hey, I mean, it feels more advertised by AEW than even Wrestle Dynasty did. I'll say that much.
Of course it does. It's their show.
So I'll give them that, I guess. Well, speaking about the world champion, we don't have a world title match here, but we do have a Brisbane brawl. I believe it was Jay White on Dynamite said that like we'll have the world famous Brisbane brawl or something like that. I just like started mocking it next to my friend. You're like, of course, the world famous Brisbane brawl. We all know what this is. The Death Riders, Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli versus Cope and Jay White. And just a brawl. So, yep, no world title match here, Scotty, but still a brawl, violence tag team
Bro.
match that will be taking place. So, obviously, this be a different match. I fully expect than the other tag match on the show. But how are you sort of vibing going into the Brisbane brawl?
Say that 9 times fast.
It's very
Um,
difficult.
all right. This is what I'm gonna admit. I don't even know who's in the Brisbane ball.
Oh, I just said it. It was John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli versus Cope and Jay White.
Okay, so I thought FTR was in it. That was my confusion.
No.
Because they were like out there.
Yes.
So like that's why I was confused. And when you
I,
just said it, I also was confused. I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
I was gonna say I'm sure they're gonna make the trip, but now I'm also like, why would they ever make that trip? They're not even wrestling.
Why
Because like
wouldn't you just put them all in it?
I agree. Because I have the feeling of like WCW idea of like, well, we Yuta and Pac are all gonna make all these constant interferences in this match because they're gonna
Right.
just
So why
expand
would
it.
you just put
So,
them in the match?
yeah, so maybe we are just going to get a straight
All right.
2-on-2.
Well,
We'll see, I guess.
uh, this is a funny match because you would think the actual faction should win, right? Like that makes the most sense. Keep them strong because we're building towards Edge. Sorry, Cope versus John Moxley. Um, which by the way does nothing for me. If anyone's wondering or caring about my Revolution take so far, I could care less about that match. I was devastated to learn that was for Revolution. Should have been Mark Briscoe. No, this should be fun, I guess. I mean, it's hard for me to act like this is gonna be fun because I don't like anything the Death Riders do. So I really don't know. I really don't know. It depends how far they go. It depends how into it they are. Not the into it don't, into the match they are. So yeah, we'll see. Just a we'll see. I can't be that excited for it because I haven't really liked the work of any of these four people.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was in Atlanta. I was in the Gateway Center Live for Dynamite this week.
Good
Pretty good
crowd,
show.
good job. Good job, Ryan.
No problem, no problem. I think it was pretty packed building. But
Okay, it was
basically,
not a big building, but
it
it
was
was
not a
packed.
big building at any capacity, but it was packed, which is
Nice
good.
building to watch wrestling in, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. We were like genuinely like eye line of the canvas, pretty much.
Nice.
So even being in the 100s bowl, but yeah, really good viewing experience to watch wrestling in. Um, uh, before I before I change what the ending graphic was, I know there is a moment I believe you saw me on TV at one
There
point in time.
was?
Yeah, because you know when
You have it?
I don't have it prepped and ready, but I can try to see if I can get
God
something.
damn it, Ryan.
I said it was going to be the closing image before
Well,
I
it should have
changed
just
it.
been the image at this point of the talking
My
because I would have liked to
apologies.
see it.
I'll see if I can find it real quick. But you know that point where like Box and the Death Riders are like leaving through the crowd?
Oh, it happens there?
I'm like right next to it,
All
basically.
right. Looks like I'm gonna go watch Max while we record this.
Well, I'll look for it. I'll look for it. Don't worry. But what I was going to say is that like the crowd definitely did not respond to that segment the most. If anything,
Sure.
the least was that segment. It was a little confusing, I think, being in the crowd a little bit. You know, it's when it comes to the match here, Mox and Claudio, like all these people should be good in a match like this. You know, Cope versus Christian Cage was a really good brawl around the arena, right? And if it's anything like
Sure.
that, then this could live up. The problem is, I think they have so much to overcome. And I don't think necessarily doing a match like this will be enough for them. But we'll see. You know, they really need they genuinely need a great hot match to overcome the coldness going into this tag match here. So,
Yeah.
can they do it? I think this is the right people that can maybe do it, but I'm not sure if they will be able to.
They're hurt by the fact that there is another tag team match on the show that is 1000% going to outperform it.
Agreed. Totally
So
agree.
like that's the problem, right? That other tag match isn't going to need the pomp and circumstance to
Mhm.
surpass it. Like that's a guarantee too. Like it's not even like oh, I wonder if no, they will. It's
Yeah.
it's not even a question. So I think that hurts them too. It kind of proves what the hot feud is in this company and what isn't. So there you
Well,
go.
speaking of the other tag match, the other tag match is, of course, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. I mean, this Scotty, this has Ryan
This game just
Knightsey.
has commercials, by the way.
Oh, this does have commercials. I assume it did.
Well, it's a TV show.
This tag match, Scotty, has Ryan Knightsey written all over it. These are arguably four of my favorite wrestlers going today having
They
a
are your
wrestling
favorite
match. Well, we can't discount Goto, or David Finlay.
Hey man, I remember the New Japan Cup last year. You were not feeling Hiroki Goto. Things change though. That's the beauty of pro wrestling, folks.
That is true. But yeah, so I am
David Finlay.
I did say David Finlay. I am extremely excited for this tag title match. I think the build for this match has been really well done, really well. Obviously, that big time angle 2 weeks ago, I believe, on Dynamite, I think was really hot, and it felt like Dynamites of old, which is obviously ideal. And then last week's Dynamite promo segment was solid enough. You know, kept the story moving along. It was totally fine.
Sure.
But then going into the show, I am extremely excited for this match. I expect this to be great. Yeah, I don't know what to really preview here because it should be great, and I fully believe it will be great.
So what's disappointment for you? 4 stars?
3.5. 3.5. I'll take a 4. I'll take a 4 with
like
AEW lately. I'll take a 4.
But I feel like with these 4, that's a disappointment for you.
That's fair. That is fair.
You know, like I feel like you need at least a quarter out of, like 4.25 to be like, all right, we got our highest level for a TV version of this.
Yes.
My thoughts on this match are very simple. It should be great.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like it's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The baby faces are gonna win, and Kenny's gonna face Takeshita. Fletcher's gonna face Ospreay one more time at Revolution, and those are your 2 big time signature matches. God, another all singles pay per view. Dear God, we're on our way, aren't we? Oh no, I hope we don't do that.
Hey,
well,
you say all
I
singles.
love singles matches, but I think AEW benefits when you have a little flow of difference,
Mm-hmm.
like a tag title match or something in
Sure.
there. Who are
Well,
the tag champs?
Her Syndicate.
Oh, I knew that. I knew
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I know
I
you
knew
know
that.
that.
Oh, they should get a tag title match on there then. We
Yes, I
hurt
think
people.
we'll see where that goes there.
Actually, that's a guarantee. Where are the Hurt Syndicate? That's what hurts this show. They're not on here.
Well, they didn't want to make the flight, and I don't blame them.
I don't blame them
I
either.
don't blame
I
whatsoever.
don't blame either. Yeah, I think my other thing for this match is you want to see how Kenny and Osprey work together. Do they go? Are they wrestling as singles or are they wrestling as a team? Right, that's kind of the big question mark in any matchup like this. So that's what I'm excited for. I'm also excited just to see hopefully Kenny in full Kenny Omega form because
Yeah,
we don't get that in AEW all the time, right? He did a lot of selling in the Brian Cage match. Then this week he acted like that match didn't even happen. So I like the idea that Kenny doesn't recognize any match that isn't 4 or more stars. That's his new
I
gimmick.
I like it.
That didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, but this is the match I'm most excited for on the show. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it gets the time, and I hope they at least do picture in picture.
Yeah, I think obviously part of the story leading into this is Osprey and Omega being at odds together, or at least I think together with acknowledging their past. I don't remember if I said this on the show, but 100%, I think this is the restart of the Golden Jets storyline, or what it was supposed to be one point in time. I fully think that is what's happening here, which makes sense, right? It's the same sort of methodology of people who have a history together now teaming up together. So there's this uneasiness. Um,
Mhm.
I think most people will be happy with the recasting of the Golden Jets in this particular instance. But I think that I agree with you. I suspect that we'll have the faces win here. I would be shocked if the heels win. But I think it would make more sense for the faces to win here. Omega pinning Takeshita would be nice because then you have like that sort of 2-1 pinfall situation, I
Yeah.
believe, with Omega and Takeshita. You can go into a title match at Revolution.
Mhm.
And then that's, I don't know who was going to win that one, but I suspect that should be great. I think that would be a toss up of whoever wins that, which is also fine. Osprey to catch Fletcher. I'm
I
okay.
do. Takeshi's got to get back to New Japan, baby.
That's a good
His
point.
true home.
It's true home. Yeah, I would suspect. I kind of hope that the Fletcher Osprey stuff, seeing another singles match doesn't necessarily happen. Not because I wouldn't be interested into it, but I just don't think we necessarily need one. That being said, Osprey. The bad news about the Golden Jets, this new storyline with Omega, is that like Osprey is still stuck in the Don Callis world. And
Yeah.
after, I believe, World's End, where it felt like, okay, this guy needs to move on, or this guy can move on now. He now sort of feels stuck, especially when, we mentioned on the show before, especially when the world title program is the way it is. And you have the questions of like, why aren't other stars at all bothered or interested about going after Moxley?
Yeah.
I think it's just more ways to lengthen whatever Osprey is
I
doing.
mean, Kenny Omega's been stuck in the Callis story since like 2021.
Yeah,
So,
and obviously, to be fair, a year injury put him out to pasture for a little bit, but
but it
yeah,
is funny right back into it,
right back into it. He still has not gotten that revenge yet. He's still in the putting over Takeshita. That does make me interested, though, Scotty, is that if there is a Golden Jets storyline, if that's what this is supposed to be, I would love for
Please
them.
stop bringing up the Golden Jets.
Well, I'm only bringing it up because where we left off of the Golden Jets is that they were going to go after the tag titles, if we recall. And I would love to see Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay versus
Get
Bobby
squashed
Lashley.
by the Hurt Syndicate. Because that's the way it goes, baby.
I would love to see that. You have no idea.
That'd be incredible. They have to lose, though, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Well, yeah, they should get squashed.
The Hurt Syndicate are the forever champions in my heart.
Yeah, you're right. They should get squashed, of course.
No, I mean, they don't have to get squashed.
All right. Okay. So here
what is happening?
So here is the screenshot.
Oh, I don't think you can play this. Okay.
I can't play it, but if you could, you can't see my thing. All the person on the left holding the beer. I can't move the mouse in any capacity, but you can see me all the way on the left on that
Oh, I
gray
see you.
t-shirt.
Yeah, I see you.
Yeah, there I am on television. There we go. Anyways, let's get that off the screen.
Drinking the beer.
Drinking a
Having a
beer,
good time.
having a cold one for Stone Cold. Shouts out 4-0 for Stone Cold. Yes, let's move around. So, other things happening on the show is that we got 3 big time hometown heroes going for various championships.
Is it Jay White from Australia?
He's from New Zealand, and for that you are canceled, Scotty. Oh,
Well, he acted like he was.
I agree.
He's in a world famous Brisbane street fight or whatever. Whatever, man. That's what made me think it. I knew he was from New Zealand too. Oh, what a shame. Sorry,
So we got 3 hometown Australian wrestlers going after various titles. Of course, we have Harley Cameron versus Mercedes Moné for the TBS title. Buddy Matthews versus Kazuchika Okada for the AEW Continental title. And of course, a good chance this could be the main event. I don't think it should, but a good chance. Mariah May versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's
It has
World
to be the main event.
Championship.
It's the only world title match.
I agree. That is a good point. It is the only true world title match. But 3 big time title matches here. Maybe not big time. I don't think Harley versus Mercedes is a big time title match, but nevertheless, 1 big time title match, a solid sub one, and another solid defense from Monet. So, what do you think about these 3 title matches here, Scotty?
They're definitely changing one title.
Have to. They have to.
Can't have all the Aussies lose.
No. They can have.
That'd be rough. It's going to be Tony.
You think it's Tony's time?
It's 100% going to be Tony. I mean, it was Tony's time forever ago, and we're just going back, which is fine. Do whatever you want. I feel like there should be a stipulation. No? Just kind of fitting of the feud. We've already done this before. Why are we not having like an all-out war type match? This has kind of been the story.
I fear that you are right, that it does feel like we should have a stipulation associated to this in some capacity. And
I
often
fear that I'm right.
Yeah, and I fear that is going to be Revolution. They're going to do a title match again, and it's going to be some sort of, I don't know,
a world famous Los Angeles brawl.
A California kerfuffle. I was gonna say
Tony say that. To be fair,
I was gonna say yeah, I could see her saying that. I was gonna say a shoe on a pole match, but I like California kerfuffle.
A Hollywood dream.
Oh, it would be Hollywood. You're right.
Bloody.
Oh, what was the Gold Dust match? The Hollywood backlot brawl.
Yeah, give me that.
Yeah, they could. It's going to be something Hollywood, but I think you're right. I think it's Revolution. It's going to be some sort of stiff title match, and we'll be done there.
Which is fine. I'm fine with that. I don't really. If you're gonna run this 3 times, you gotta have a stipulation on the last one. That's my take. I think Tony, based on the reactions, based on the past couple months, should be winning this because it feels like this was the entire purpose of the title change at All In, which was, by the way, in August. It is now February.
Yeah.
It's been a long time to get here, so I would do that. I would very obviously not have Harley Cameron beat Mercedes Moné. I don't think I need to say that, but I'll say it now just in case some people are like, it would be real. No, it wouldn't actually. Harley Cameron's over. Good for her. That does not mean she should be the one beating the undefeated AEW TBS all title champion. Like that's not the direction. I think there's other people that should have that opportunity to be the first loss for Mercedes. And no offense to Harley, she is not. I think it's just really cool that Harley gets this opportunity. Big time match, big time opponent. Sometimes that's enough, And Buddy Matthews.
Real quickly, Harley Cameron to me in this spot feels like the Zelina Vega, Rhea Ripley in Puerto Rico.
I was hoping you said the Jey Uso.
Yeah, Harley Cameron comes out, big Australian flag thing, whatever, wings.
And doing the eat.
and also eating, as we all do.
And speaking of Rhea Ripley, Buddy Matthews versus Okada. I think Buddy Matthews seemingly has found something um, again. He
Yeah.
seems explosive again. He seems
Mhm.
excited again. Kind of feels like that way for the Hounds of Hell. It's almost like someone was holding them back.
Julia
I know.
Hart? I don't think I don't think she was.
No, Julia Hart's around. Can't
Oh
be
yeah,
her.
that's a good point.
Yeah. I'm excited for that match. I mean, I don't know if Okada's going to try, so that's
Mhm.
always the question mark. But if he does, should be a good match.
I think of the fact that I mean it is a TV match technically, but I think there's an element of Okada. He steps up for the big time matches, obviously,
Sure.
and he did that in New Japan. Obviously,
Yeah.
technically he would always do that. Just no one was watching any of his other, lesser known
Hopefully he doesn't
multi-man
think this is a
tags.
Tamashi show.
Yes, as long as well, I don't think Okada was ever on any of those
I
shows,
don't
but
think he was either.
I expect we'll see Okada step up here. If we recall, these two faced at Battle in the Valley. I think the first Battle in the Valley,
Yeah.
Okada versus Buddy, and that match was pretty good. I think it
That
was
was
really
like
good
when he was
actually.
fresh out of WWE too.
I think it was Buddy's first match at WWE. I want to say.
Sounds
Um,
right.
and so, and I thought that match was really well done, and obviously that was for New Japan. This is for AEW, and maybe it's different from Okada. He's definitely certainly different gimmick, but I don't think that gimmick necessarily changes his wrestling ability. I think he can still step up and be that great wrestler. I think Buddy is going to obviously, being in Australia, given the chance, want to also step up and have a good match. So I suspect we'll have a really good match here. I suspect that we'll have a solid match with Mercedes and Harley. And I suspect we'll also have another solid, really good match with Tony and Mariah May. That match has to also be good. And I
They
fully
all have to
suspect
be good, but
everything on the show has to be good. Well, I don't think everything on the show necessarily has to be good, but I think there are a lot of things that, the tag match, the Brisbane Brawl has to be
I
great.
I look everything. I look so me defining what's good for each match is different. Like I don't think it just needs to be like, oh, good wrestling match. For
Sure.
me, like you have to have a little hope with Harley for the hometown crowd.
I need I
You
need a moment where it's like a 2.999 kick out with
Right. Yeah, it's
Mercedes.
gotta be like some type of roll up,
Mhm.
like one of those great and big stunner. Because like that match isn't gonna be long, and that match doesn't need to be long, but it needs to get the job done, and I think it will. Again, I don't think it's gonna be like a great match or anything, but I think it will be a fun watch, especially if Harley is as over in that building as she's been in every other building. Um with Buddy and Okada, yeah, it needs to be good.
Yeah,
Like it needs to be good in ring because there's no other scenario there.
yeah.
Um, Tony and Mariah is fascinating. Like they need to hit a certain level with this for all the
Well,
time is taken.
I think for them, similar to the Harley Cameron Mercedes Moné thing, but to I guess maybe a lesser extent, they don't even necessarily sell a potential win for Harley, for Tony Storm or Mariah May. What
Yeah.
this match needs to do to be extremely successful, which I think they can easily do, is have an insane crowd connection.
Yes.
I think way more than everything else. I think
Yeah,
it's
this
totally
feels like the match to have that.
it is totally plausible to do that. I think if anything, the Omega tag might supersede that, but I think that's the only match
Sure.
that has the chance to.
Well,
Um,
this is a homecoming for Fletcher too, by the way.
I know that's why I'm like, there's a couple different things here. Do you think Tony Khan
All the
thinks?
Australians lose?
I was gonna say, do you think Tony Khan thinks Jay White is Australian? Anyways,
Yeah, I do.
I fear that he might. But yeah, I think
The
that
way
match.
Jay White spoke about it, yeah, I thought he did too.
I think the Tony Storm match, it needs to have the utmost crowd connection and the crowd fully behind Tony. It does feel like Tony obviously needs to get the win, and then we'll move forward and have a
If
solid
she
out.
loses,
I'm gonna smash my head into the wall.
all right, cool. So I
That's
have
not
to
a
watch this show at some ungodly hour before I record this show next week. Yeah, I
probably.
do. I
Probably we
do.
do. We probably do. Well, it'll be
You
on
don't
TNT, so it'll be technically we can like DVR it and then watch it in the morning or something, right?
think I'm gonna do that? You nuts?
Do you not have a DVR? in 2025.
Don't wake up early.
I just wake up at ungodly hours.
This is already early.
There's probably some sort of Stardom or Marigold.
Oh,
Or,
there's Vengeance Day next week. Oh, I'm set.
oh, did you want to discuss Vengeance Day instead?
Well, the Julia versus Bailey versus Roxanne Perez is on here, so I'm excited about that. But the rest of the show, not so much. So no, I'm good.
This isn't Stephanie Vauquier. No, Stephanie
Vauquier is getting a belt, baby.
Yes, that's always good.
This is good.
Well, speaking about
Ethan Page.
WWE wrestlers, I guess is
Nope,
the transition I'm making.
That's not the transition at all. They're not there anymore.
Yeah, they're not WWE wrestlers. You're right. But speaking about former Australian WWE wrestlers, Duke Hudson, along with other people, that's the transition. There were some WWE releases, both in talent and behind the scenes. I saw one post saying that there was like a video editor that recently got let go as well. But there are a couple of various releases by WWE when it comes to roster talent that is known. There are some rumors about other people, but what we do know for a fact is the following: Duke Hudson, Isla Dawn, the Good Brothers, which is notable because Carl Anderson has been out with an injury. Giovanni Vinci, Blair Davenport, Sonya Deville, Cedric Alexander, and AOP, along with Paul Ellering. Obviously,
again.
I think AOP again. Yes.
Again.
Where's that Thanos gauntlet where I believe AOP and the Good Brothers are on it, and then they got let go again. And I think that was the only one that really Giovanni. No, I don't remember. But yeah, anyways. So obviously some notable people here, Good Brothers and AOP, like we said, people that were fired
again,
then brought back and now let go.
Was this their third run? Was this their third run or second?
I think this is their second run, technically.
Well, it was Luke Gallows' third.
Yes, Machine Gunka being injured as he gets released. Obviously a couple people here are not really, there was one news story about Duke Hudson, Triple H actively not seeing him as a main roster talent, which explains why he never got bumped up to the main roster. Other people that I find interesting in here, Giovanni Vinci. What I find interesting about him is that he got brought up to the main roster as part of Imperium at a point in time where he was already broken off in NXT and Triple H's NXT. Triple H broke Vinci off from Imperium. Then Vinci gets brought up. He's on the main roster with Vince McMahon. Then when Triple H takes control over, he separates Vinci from Imperium again. And now Vinci has been let go. So Triple H obviously does not like this guy, is what that tells me. He obviously does not like Giovanni Vinci. Sonya Deville, just in the Royal Rumble. I believe the day before she got released, she was doing press for WWE.
She didn't get released.
She didn't get released? Last I saw...
They're just letting her contract expire.
Oh, that's a good... Yes, that's a
there
good
is a difference.
That is a good clarifying. So,
not that it's better. It's
not as better. It is a sort of the 90-day situation. It does not affect her.
Yeah.
Isla Dawn did get released. She was basically on main event, but was notable about her.
Tag belts.
She was in
last year.
Yeah, she was a tag team champion formerly and in a tag team with Kaylee Ray. I saw some rumors that Kaylee Ray might have been let go, but I think that is unsubstantiated. So we'll see what Isla Dawn goes from here. And obviously, Blair Davenport is an interesting, notable person as well. We'll see if she pops up back in AEW or even Stardom, or maybe, I guess, Marigold as a possibility. I don't know. We'll talk about that, Scotty, in a moment. And then Cedric Alexander, Hurt Syndicate, is doing real well. Former faction that he was in AEW. However, AEW is also the former employees of his wife, which ended on really poor terms. So we have a lot of interesting people. We can go through each individually, Scotty, in a moment to discuss where we think they could land, where we might want them to land, where we think it's a good possibility, good fit for them. But Scotty, overall, what do you think about these releases?
I mean, it sucks when anyone loses their job. I say this every time we do this. You don't root for anyone to lose their job. You gotta look at it in two ways. You gotta look at it in that way, and then you gotta look at it in, I guess, the business way. as well, because that's what we're doing here. And ultimately, like, they weren't doing anything with most of these people.
Yeah.
I think there's a bigger conversation at hand when it comes to like a Blair Davenport of just calling up a wrestler to call up a wrestler and then
Mhm.
not having a plan for them so that they can't do anything to stand out to maybe save their job. I think that's a continuous problem that WWE has, right?
Yeah.
They did it with Dijak, they did it with someone else. Either way,
They
that's my point though. It's like they
I'll just say this. They did do it with Odyssey Jones, and then that fell apart for obvious reasons.
then but that's the thing. They call these people up and then they don't. Zion Quinn,
We'll talk
All
we'll
Japan's own.
we'll talk about him
Zion
in a
Quinn.
moment.
You know, like he did the same thing. They called him up randomly and then they
Mhm.
never used him once. I'm not saying these guys are like, or these guys and girls are like, you know,
The
top of
next
the
John
line wrestlers,
Cena's or anything.
but you don't know until you use them, right? Like you can't stand out if you're not utilized. If you're only on main event, like what are you going to show?
Isla Dawn is someone who was basically on main event
Right.
for the past couple
Isla
weeks.
Dawn was at least used, but at the same time, like she disappeared to main event. So it's like, what do you want them to do? Listen, this is kind of what happens now when WWE is going to start calling people up, which is this time of year. So it is what it is. But again, they're going to call more people up, and some of them are going to get lost in the shuffle. Not everyone's going to be Roxanne Perez and have a story instantly, right?
Yeah.
You know, she's on Raw and she's going to be in the Elimination Chamber essentially. Like that's what they're doing with her. But for the Blair Davenports, you know, I don't even think she got on TV like once for a match, I think, since she got called up, and it was
I
like a
I think
something.
so.
I think she got
Yeah.
one. That's my point though. And I also gotta, you gotta open a cold one for the Good Brothers. Shouts out to them. Obviously it sucks that it happens when Carl Anderson's hurt. You never want to see that. Um, but listen, here's the other thing. No two guys have been better at making money the past couple of years than those two guys. So
They will find a footing
yeah.
somewhere.
Oh, buddy. Maple Leaf Pro is probably already booking them. I bet New Japan has already tossed in a call. You know, like
Yeah, Bullet Club really needs Machine Gunka these days.
we need new strong tag champs.
Uh,
I
oh yeah,
don't mean to joke, but like it's true. Like
no, I do.
this is what happens with these two.
Well, that's what sucks. What is Luke Gallows going to do with Carl Anderson out? You know, like what
Drink
is
some
he going to do?
brewskis and maybe do a podcast. I don't know.
Do a random indie appearance and then leave as soon as the show starts. Yeah. Well, I guess
The
we'll go through it.
devil, hey. Sorry.
The Good Brothers, obviously, I think they'll find a place to
Yeah.
land. It's just a matter of kind of where.
I hope they all find places to land.
I do too. I think the good news is about all of these releases is that the industry is at a point where there's more places that will take interest in you.
Yeah.
And I also think like the industry is at a point right now where TNA is a more viable option for some of these people, right?
I
TNA.
think so. I know people are like, well, they were a relationship with I was like, I don't think that affects them here.
I don't know. I think if you're somebody that maybe like always dreams of WWE, you can maybe go to TNA and
Build
find a
yourself back
way.
up.
Yeah, find your way back into and
Sure.
stay within that sphere and find your way back
I think that's
into
smart.
WWE.
Yeah.
As
TNA
opposed
could use
to,
some people.
and I think that's also going to be interesting as well as a good test to see how these WWE people see TNA as a viable option.
Sure.
Right? They could go off into Japan. They could go off
If
into
none land
AEW.
there, it'll be very telling.
But it would be an interesting aspect of the TNA WWE partnership that we haven't discussed as a sort of we can release people, but then because of the TNA relationship, these people might want to come back to us. They might not go anywhere else and just go
Sure.
back to TNA, which
Yeah.
will then help our partners in a weird way. That's an interesting thing. We'll find out if that happens, I guess.
It would be great if all of them get contracts of some sort somewhere.
Mhm.
You know, like that. That's what you want to see for these wrestlers. I think some interest me more than not where they land, because of whether I've seen them in WWE or, like I said, with the Good Brothers, they'll land.
Yeah.
They'll land. Some people always land. AOP didn't do any wrestling when they were released last time, so
Remember that one show they were going to run in England?
we even previewed it.
Yeah.
Nia Jax was on it
Uh-huh.
when she was released.
I think it was Nia Jax versus Lana, I believe, for like
Yeah,
a
that would have been
title.
really bad. Yeah, I remember that. So like that's the other thing I also wonder sometimes, because for a lot of people it can be WWE or bust. So you kind of think like, will they continue wrestling? Right? I mean, Baron Corbin has surprised me massively. He is
Yeah.
someone that seems very determined. He was the kind of guy that you looked at like that. Braun Strowman did that, right? He didn't really wrestle outside when he was released. I think he might have done like 1 or 2 matches, but not really much else.
He popped up in Ring of Honor. Remember that?
I do remember that. That was really weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. But he didn't do a lot,
No,
right?
he
He
it
just
was
did
it was
like
the final battle show,
yeah,
and then obviously it stopped existing, and then
right.
Tony
So
Khan
he
took it
got
over.
then he went back. So it's like it's things like that, and I don't, as someone who is unemployed and has been let go from a job, I understand the want to try to again push yourself and maybe figure things out. So I hope that's what these wrestlers do.
Mhm.
I think a lot of them, specifically Blair Davenport, formerly known as Bea Priestley, has a uh, she already has made it known she's back to her previous nickname,
Mhm.
which is the Top Gaijin. If she want, here's how I view her. For example, if
Okay.
she wants to stay in the U.S., I think TNA takes her 100%. Like I think she makes a lot of sense for TNA.
Mhm.
Um,
Can't discount AEW since they formally were interested in her.
well, they signed her and then let her go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, they let her go because of the pandemic. If I
COVID,
remember.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think if that doesn't happen, then Japan will 100% be calling, whether it be Stardom or Marigold. I think both of them
Do
will
you
have interest.
do you have any suspicion about one or the other, knowing that you're a Joshi overseer? Hold on, what was the term? What was the term of the new project that Scotty started? Joshi Watcher? No, what was the name of the project? Scotty, what was the name of the project that you just started?
This is great that you don't know it. Um,
I,
I think
I
Connor. I will say. I think just to say, I do think Connor kind of nailed it. Like sorry for the last show, but it's not surprising. Yeah, it absolutely how I feel. Um, it's the Joshi Informer. So good job,
Informer.
Ryan.
Thank you. I was trying to
I
tee you up. I was trying to tee you up.
So I think that again, as long as if we assume all options are on the table and like staying in the U.S. isn't the necessary thing, I think both will be very interested in her. She's a former World of Stardom champion,
Yep.
so Stardom will have eyes on that. To answer Vankin's question, would you take B back in Stardom over Tekla? Yeah, I would. I sure would. I think she's actually the most reasonable replacement if Tekla wants to take her shot at going to the US. I think she makes the most sense of kind of bringing her in as the everyday um, international wrestler
Mhm.
and kind of replacing Tekla, who Tekla as essentially was the replacement for Once Upon a Time when she had left. So uh,
Is it weird to think that B Priestley might be the first? Well, I'm not necessarily the first. Uh, one of the first like international talent contract fights for between Stardom and Marigold.
I mean, I guess here's the thing. I don't know if it'll be a fight. I just think like it'll be what does she find most interesting. She has friends in both.
Do you recall any relationship positive or negative between her and Rossi?
Oh yeah, Rossi made her world champion, man.
Good point. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but making
no,
someone world champion doesn't mean
Rossi
that they.
liked B.
Yeah.
Now
Okay.
Rossi liked B. Again, that's why I see like it could be either way.
Mhm.
I expect her to land at one of them. That's kind of where I'm at. But if TNA is smart, I think they'd take her.
Mhm.
there's B is a fascinating wrestler because a lot of Stardom fans didn't like her at the time. But in there with the right opponent, I do think she can have great. Her last match against Utami for the title was probably the best match I've ever seen her have. It
Yeah.
was a great match.
She's had great matches with Mayu. Granted, that's Mayu, but
Right.
still.
So like that's the thing. It's like she is going to be worth something for someone 100%. So it'll be fascinating to see if it goes. I do think she ends up back in Japan. I don't think she is hiding that.
Yeah.
Like that I think will be her destination. But we'll have to wait and see. I think both companies will want her though, for sure. I do.
What's interesting though, also at the landscape of the wrestling world, is that she goes to Marigold, it sort of feels like she might go to TNA, and if she goes to Stardom, it feels like she might go to AEW, just because of the relationships
Sure.
between all these companies. Even though Marigold and TNA don't really have a relationship
Yeah.
formally in any capacity, there is a
Yeah.
sort of informal thing between Marigold and WWE.
Yeah,
Where
people have to bring that up as if WWE has sent anyone else over
I
to
know,
Marigold. It's very funny because people always throw them in with Noah, and I'm like, it's just been Io.
I know. I think a lot of it has to do with the Wrestle Universe stuff,
Yeah, for sure.
but
I get it. I
still.
get it. And I
Um,
will say this last thing on B. I think for her, that is probably the best route to
mhm.
kind of rebuild herself as well. You know, you're just gonna look best against the best. I think she's the most interesting to me just because of her previous time out of them. I don't have many thoughts on like Sonya Deville the last time I watched her wrestle. No offense, she was really bad. Um, Isla Dawn, I mean, could be a name, but again, I don't know much about her, so I don't know what her goals are. So
Yeah.
we'll see. She seems destined to keep wrestling based on the way she commented, but
Mhm.
I don't know. So
Yeah, Sony Deville. I same Sony Deville is up there with me for like AOP as someone that like I fully don't expect to
mm,
see them wrestle ever
mm.
again.
By the way, the
Um,
last Tough Enough from that Tough Enough season
oh,
gone.
you're right. That is
She was
true.
the last one. I said it during the Rumble. She was the last one.
Does Chelsea Green count? Didn't Chelsea Green show up in the at a like later
I
in the
guess
season?
she was in it, but I don't know if she counts because like she's been in and out of there so
I
many
know.
times, So like she does now. I guess you're right. I don't know. It's a she's been released from there like 3 times.
Hmm.
She is champion though.
So I don't necessarily expect that we'll see Sonya Deville pop up. I mean, if anything, maybe she'll join Mandy Rose on her podcast. I think
Oh, absolutely.
I
That's
think
probably
that's
the
what we'll
best.
sort of see. That's
That's
probably
probably the
her
best.
first spot to talk about
Yeah,
all this.
yeah,
It sort of sucks for Sonya Deville because like she had to go through all that stalking home
yeah,
invasion stuff, and I think the trial like all that stuff like finally got cleared up, and then a couple months
yeah.
later she
I
gets
always
released.
rooted for her. I always
Me too.
wanted her to be more than she ended up being um in WWE, but yeah, I mean, it would be nice for her not to stop. I don't want any of these people to stop wrestling. Like,
Yeah,
again, it's an untapped like let me see what I can do outside of the WWE shackles per se. Like what can I do with more creativity
yeah.
and so on.
She's 31 years old, so she certainly
Yeah.
could. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
Do you think AEW signs any of these people?
I think the Good Brothers are always are always
If
outstanding
they
there.
get an AEW deal, man,
I know.
we're
I don't.
putting them in the Hall of Fame. They're gonna be the
If
first ballot ring post radio Hall of Famers.
the Good Brothers are always just you never know with them, so I'm not going to discount them.
That's
I
awesome.
think I think well
Them versus the Hurt Syndicate.
I think Good Brothers have a number 2 chance. I think if anyone B might be higher than the Good Brothers, honestly.
But they
Um,
are the Good Brothers.
yeah, but it's the Good Brothers, so you never know. They're 1 through 3. They're in the top 3, so I don't know exactly where. I think Cedric Alexander has the best shot,
Yeah,
legitimately.
I like
Um,
Cedric.
I the obvious thing there is the twofold thing that I already talked about of Hurt Syndicate. Cedric is suddenly available. Hurt Syndicate is a super over act. He
They've already
formed
said they expect.
the,
I think AW sources expect the Hurt Syndicate to try to get him there. So,
Yeah, I mean, I expect that. I could have put out that report.
yeah.
I think it's right there. They could bring in a different young guy if they wanted to. I mean, I don't think Cedric's a young guy necessarily anymore. But
Here's my hot take. I like how the Heart Syndicate is.
I do too. I do too.
I don't think they get ruined or anything,
Well, I
but
think bringing in Cedric
gives them
allows an
a
opening
favor.
for Bobby to go for like a world title sort of
Also
situation.
gives them someone to get pinned.
That's true. And MVP, I guess, could, but he had one match and he won. Uh, but Cedric, MVP, and Shelton they could do a trios thing there as well.
Ooh, I'm in.
So I think Cedric is the biggest person
Number one.
chance for me just because of the Hurt Syndicate. That also being said, the Big Swole situation
Yeah,
with AEW
not something to look over.
is going to be a big possibility why Cedric could not go into AEW. If people don't recall, Big Swole, his Cedric Alexander's wife, used to work for AEW back when it started. Big Swole got released. She said that she got released, or not because she got released because of this. I don't think so, but she was upset with the company because of lack of diversity and all these other issues. And Tony Khan quote tweeted her statement for her, like from a Fightful report, basically saying that like all these other black wrestlers are winning. I'm a person of color. Mega, who doesn't work for the company anymore, was a person of color. And I just didn't think you were a good wrestler, is also what he tweeted at her. So not a great thing. This was 2020. I think this 2020, maybe 2021 when this happened. Things could change, obviously, but I think that's the biggest impediment for Cedric coming in. We will see. I think AEW would offer it to Cedric. It will come down whether or not Cedric says no.
Sure.
So we will see. I think he is a big shot. If I'm AEW, I'm looking at Cedric. I'm probably looking at B just because, right? I think B is a solid wrestler still. That could bring something.
No, he doesn't wrestle.
Doesn't know. Yeah, wouldn't know. Obviously, also had like 2 knee injuries, if I recall. But that's WWE, baby. They bring in women's wrestlers and give them knee injuries.
He's only 28.
Yeah, still very young. Obviously, hurt wheels there, but I think she could still be a solid addition to that roster. The problem with B, though, for me, Scotty, is that like bringing in B is like bringing in like another Ruby Riot, Ruby Soho, bringing in someone that like, yeah, that makes sense for the AEW roster, but I don't necessarily see them as like, the next big thing for this company. That none of these people at the end of the day, Scotty, are going to turn AEW around. It's just going to be lower mid card people to the certain extent, and that then brings up the other issue with AEW, which is people already complain about like not pushing all of the roster members, and here we have like a bunch of people that could be available, and like, do you take them up?
And yet we push Daniel Garcia, and what does he do? He's not exciting.
So I think it's the issue of like I could see them pick up some people,
Sure.
but I also, if I'm at AEW, maybe I don't want to pick up any of them. I'm okay with that. I see some.
Here's the real question.
Uh-huh.
Do you think Mercedes Moné likes any of them?
I think Mercedes Moné would be interested in wrestling B Priestley.
That might tell you enough then.
Sonya or Isla Dawn, I have no idea. But we'll see.
I always like to put the women's signings to Mercedes.
Yeah. Isla Dawn, I can see her maybe beating Mercedes Moné for the Rev Pro title.
I was so confused what you were saying there. I was like, Pete Mercedes. Oh, okay.
If I'm AEW,
since 2018.
If I'm AEW, I would be maybe interested in AOP.
All right, man.
Well, hear me out. If they're anything like the Hurt Syndicate where they can just come and destroy people, that might be fine. And Paul Ellering is a solid throwback act that could work with the aesthetic of AEW.
Uh-huh.
Now, they might not go anywhere or do any of these other things. We don't know. I mean, a big part of the conspiracy theory, I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory or if we know that for a fact now, is like Triple H telling all of them, hey, don't sign anywhere else after they were let go the first time.
Sure.
And now I don't think that will be upheld.
No.
So maybe AOP would be interested in doing that. I also understand not getting them. Giovanni Vinci, that's a guy I would consider picking up. I think Giovanni Vinci
not go to AEW first.
Giovanni Vinci, I think would be great in TNA. Legitimately great in TNA. I think that would be a great spot for him.
One guy with another.
Yep. I think that would be a really good spot for him. I think Duke Hudson. I don't know what I would if I would do anything with Duke Hudson. Isla Dawn, Sonya Deville. I don't really know if I would do anything. I think there's some spots for these people. If I'm AEW, I maybe pick one or two, but honestly, you don't have to take any of them. I think this is a good thing, more so than anything for like TNA, MLW. Duke Hudson and MLW makes sense now that I think about it. These people are going to make sense in like other smaller spots. Yeah. I think the bigger question is, of course, the Japan of it all. Are any of them going to show up in Japan? I think V Priestley is a deadlock.
I want to make a point.
Cedric Alexander and deadlock. Hold on.
I can see that happen. I do want to make a point now that both Blair Davenport and Isla Dawn wrestled Mako Satomura in NXT UK. Sendai Girls could book one of them.
Isla Dawn and Sendai Girls is interesting.
Wouldn't shock me if Isla Dawn was brought in. She brought in Nina Samuels, who she had connections with in NXT UK. So it's like one of those things where it's like, Mako might be like, hey, you want to do this? Because Mako's obviously retiring, but she's not going away. Like she's going to still be working. So that was the only one I wanted to toss out for Isla Dawn. I was like, I could see it.
Giovanni Vinci and Noah, I think, could be interesting. Legitimately, him versus Alpha Bane.
Giovanni Vinci is exactly who should go.
I said Alpha Bane, Dragon Bane, Dragon Bane, and Giovanni Vinci.
I want Giovanni Vinci to go to Japan.
Yeah, I think he could be interesting. I think if he worked,
replace Ion Quinn.
If he worked like Progress and Noah, since that's a partnership or whatever.
Progress. Yeah,
just have a European home.
I was thinking out loud. My apologies.
Yeah, no worries. I think if anything, these people
a Progress reference.
I don't think necessarily. Maybe one or two of these people could be in AEW, but I think ultimately this is going to help out. This is going to filter out to the rest of the wrestling world. So I'm interested to see where it goes.
We know the Good Brothers are only going big though.
Now
they're not just an indie group.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's the most interesting to me is All Japan could be a home for any of these people. Giovanni Vinci and All Japan actually isn't awful. I'm not a
I said that.
That's not a bad idea. Now, Champion Carnival, that got announced this morning for All Japan, their field.
Do you have the cards, do you have the pictures so you can put them up?
Oh, I don't have the pictures, but I can.
You're fired.
I didn't realize I needed the pictures. If you wanted them, you could have found them, sir.
I forgot we were even talking about it till you brought it up on the show.
That is fair. The Champion Carnival got announced this morning for an All Japan show. I didn't watch the All Japan show yet this morning, but it did have a title match on it. So that is something that is interesting.
Has it been highly regarded?
I haven't seen anything to discuss it, but I haven't really been on the internet to look at it. So let's see.
You've been awake since 3 a.m. and you couldn't come through for me? Oh, dear God.
So block A, we have Kento Miyahara, Jun Saito, of course, the All Japan Triple Crown champion, Deki Suzuki, Shitaro Shino, Kumo Arashi, Kengo Mashimo, Zion, former Zion Quinn from WWE NXT, Cyrus, and he's back, Davey Boy Smith Jr. We thought we already got rid of him, but he's returned for the Champion Carnival. Have
you ever seen a block so clearly being won by Kento Miyahara? Kento Miyahara versus Zion.
You don't think this is Shitaro Ashino's year finally? You don't think he's finally going to get pushed in this company?
He won the Champion Carnival already.
Yeah, but then he got immediately broke his leg in the
Well,
match,
that's
right? In
not
the
my
final, right?
problem.
I think I think Ashino is a total possibility. I think it's down to Ashino and Kento,
This
pretty
is a
much.
terrible block.
Yeah, this isn't great. I'm not
This is
excited.
awful, dude.
Kento Miyahara versus Zion Quinn. I mean, it's Kento Miyahara, but I guess it'll be a good match, but still.
Oh god. I mean,
The
Kumarashi's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with him. It's like it's those last. Oh my god, Zion.
yeah, Davey Boy's.
Zion.
You're talking about everyone. Everyone's discussing Zion, and I could care less. Zion, I'm fine with. It's the
No,
Davey
why
Boy.
are you? Why are
No,
you fine with Zion?
I'm fine with Zion. I didn't think he was the drizzling shits or anything NXT. I didn't think he was
He
that
was
bad.
though. He
I don't.
wasn't. He was in NXT though, and he wasn't good.
I
So
think
what makes you think he's going to be good in All Japan Pro Wrestling?
to me, Scotty, the bigger issue is Davey Boy Smith. That is him being
He
back
was
in this
always
company.
coming back. He said it when he left last time. He was coming back.
I don't care for Davey Boy in any
I
capacity.
don't either. By the way, Zion Quinn is 35 years old.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited for Davey Boy either, at all. I don't want to see him. But you knew he was coming back.
Yeah, and the fact that he's also in the same block as who's
He's
going to
fine
beat.
with both of that.
So here's another question: who's going to beat June in this block? Now, granted, I should say when does the Champion Carnival start? It doesn't have the date here.
The 9th of April.
9th of April. So there's a chance they did this last year, right? With
Or it
Yuma
might end
Anzai.
then.
What was that?
It might end the 9th of April. 1 second. You
Is
continue.
it March 14th? Is it March 14th? It says 14-3 right there. It might be March 14th. Well, anyways, but the point I'm trying to make is that Jun Saito is obviously the champion right now, the Triple Crown champion. Last year, Yuma Anzai won the title right before the Champion Carnival, if I recall. So there's the chance. I was about to say.
I was right.
What? It's April. So it is totally plausible, Scotty, that Jun Saito won't be going into this carnival as champion.
Sure.
If he is champion, who the heck is beating Jun Saito? I think it could be a Kento. I think it could be a Davey Boy. I think a Ashino I would love.
Hideki Suzuki's absolutely going to beat him.
Honestly, I would love for Ashino to get the win here, but I guess we will see. B block.
I'm rooting for Kento because I'm done with this company not having him as their champion.
That's fair. I think you're gonna have to hold out more hope on that one, Scotty. But B block,
I don't like All Japan right now, and this block is why.
B block, Yuma Aoyagi, Rei Saito, Hokuto Omori, Yuma Anzai, Ryuki Honda, Rene Abe, Angel Blanc from Europe, Mike D, also from Europe, making his return to All Japan. People do enjoy Mike D. Apparently,
photo is hysterical.
Yeah, it's a rough photo for Mike D. Gotta say. And from Dragon Gate, Madoka Kakuta, Hip Hop Kakuta, showing up in this company.
You could have picked anyone else
from Dragon Gate. I totally agree,
and I would have been happy.
I'm not a huge Kakuta guy, but like I also like that like the storyline right now of Dragon Gate is like he's the one that's really talking about like the next generation for Dragon Gate and representing the company. I guess he's representing the company in another company, but still, I just think it's funny that he's going to be gone from Dragon Gate because he's in All Japan's Champion Carnival.
This is a far better block, which is insane considering it has Hokuto Omori in it.
He's a little bit better. I think Omori's gotten a little bit better.
He's pretty bad. For a singles guy, pretty bad.
That's fair. I think he's a good tag.
I thought Blanc was like small.
I mean, he's not 6 foot. I don't know how tall he is, but he's not. I don't think he's like that short. I think this is obviously a better block than A block. I think this is where, weirdly enough, more of your wrestling is going to be. Your pure
what a sentence.
Pure wrestling is going to be. I mean, you got Aoyagi, you got Anzai, you got Angel Blanc. I think is a good person in here. I'm not a big Honda or a Rene Abe guy, but I know people do enjoy them. So this is a fine block.
28 years old, 7.85 on Cage Match.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 2 4s.
Oof.
Everything else is pretty high.
Ray Saito's in
WX
here as well. I think people say Ray, I believe, is the better Saito.
So while I'm not that big of a fan of Kuta,
mhm.
I mean, this is so much better than the other block. Like he would be a plus in the other block by a
Yes.
lot.
I
So,
think if you take anyone from this block and put them in A block, it immediately
except
adds to it.
Hokuto Mori. But yeah.
Yeah.
If you were to pivot Hokuto Mori and one of the bottom people, you'd be like, oh wow, nothing changed.
Who do you suspect could win this one? If we're saying Kento or Shotaro Ashino, maybe.
I really hope it's not Yuma Aoyagi.
Why not?
I'm so done with him. I find him so boring.
Yeah, his last
Which is
title reign.
unfortunate because I used to like him.
His last title reign wasn't that good, and also he's getting more power in All Japan too.
I have no idea who's gonna
Ray
win this.
I think Ray is a shout. Ray Saito.
Yeah, I guess.
Yuma
Why are the Saitos the only people that win?
Well, because they're popular in All Japan.
I thought Kento Miyahara was too, but he doesn't win.
Well, the business is growing under the Saitos, not Kento Miyahara, baby.
Mike D. Mike D is my pick.
That's not a bad pick. I would like that one.
It's
I think Yuma
pick.
Anzai is not a terrible pick either. I think
Ryuki Honda.
Yuma Anzai is a guy that I think could like go to the finals and lose.
Yeah, Kakuta's not winning. Mike D's not winning.
Amori's not winning.
Blanc's not winning. Ayabe's not winning. He already won the Royal Road.
Yep.
So I would probably say one of the four if you cross out Hokuto Mori on the left.
Aoyagi, Saito, Anzai, and Honda.
Yeah, they feel like the heavy favorites.
I can agree with that. So yeah, that starts in April. Still plenty of time away, but we got those announcements today. Scotty, not jazzed about Champion Carnival.
I have a daunting take to make during the New Japan preview, and those blocks are a big reason why.
The Champion Carnival blocks are a big reason why you have a daunting take.
You'll see. We will get there.
I guess we'll get there right now. We'll get there right now. New Japan's new beginning in Osaka is taking place this Tuesday. I want to say
the New Japan show in forever.
February 11th. Top down, Scotty. I am, well, maybe not top down, but pretty much top down. I'm fully interested in the show.
Ryan is on the edge of his seat for Shota Umino and Great Oak.
I didn't even see that one. I saw the Togi Makabe match, singles match, and I was like,
yeah, but I think it's Tana, so it's okay.
Yeah. But
it's the vibes, you know.
Pretty much top down. I am very much excited about this show. This, I believe,
is the most excited I've been for a New Japan show.
Since
forever.
I guess Wrestle Kingdom to a certain extent, but before that,
way more than that.
Climax finals?
Nope. Maybe, way more than that.
New beginning in Osaka last year.
Might be true. Oh no, that was the cage match, wasn't
it? Whatever the cage match was is probably that one.
Oh no, I did not know. No. We're gonna keep going back. Wrestle Kingdom. We'll go Wrestle Kingdom last year.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. Anyway, so New Japan, New Beginning Osaka. This looks to be a great show. They've obviously loaded up on the card, but even before that, they've been sold out for quite a while. I believe got sold out basically once they put the tickets on sale. So this should be an extremely hot crowd, sold out at Eon Arena in Osaka, and a great card to boot. We have 4 singles matches to start, and I'll group them all together before we get into the title matches.
Some real bangers here.
Yeah, Togi Makabe versus Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah, baby. What are the chances?
I was
going to miss a slight chance to be the best of the 4.
I was going to group all these together, and Scotty immediately breaks
No. I have thoughts about all of them. I can't group them all together. I got thoughts.
Togi Makabe versus Tanahashi. I can see why you think this would be the best one, but I disagree. I don't think
it will be fun. It's the old guys going at it, you know?
I think it'll be fun.
One more time.
Shingo Takagi versus Drilla Maloney. This is Drilla moving up to heavyweight in this little bout. I know I'm excited for this one. I know you're not, but I am excited for this one. Genuinely excited.
Shingo's gonna lose.
I think he will lose.
They love when Shingo loses.
We also have to keep in mind here, this Shingo versus Drilla reads to me as a first round for the New Japan Cup.
Oh, good point.
So I'm just gonna.
Point.
I don't remember. Do we get the New Japan Cup participants here? I feel like we do.
We should, yeah. Because the
So
New Japan Cup's right after Fantastic Mania, so yeah.
So we'll probably get that here as well. But this,
Which,
match,
by the way, New Japan, I hate that you gave me 2 cards airing live. You give me 2 of the best tour of the year. You will pay. You will pay.
Anyway, so yeah, Shingo Drilla, that 100% feels like a first round match for New
That's
Japan
a
Cup.
great point. So Shingo's winning this one.
Technically, I guess all 4 you need to keep in the back of your head when it comes to the cup, but we'll get there when we get there.
Tanahashi versus Togi Makabe in the first round.
Great Khan versus Shota Umino. I'll make sure to have my bed ready. And then
that match is gonna stink.
I've never been less excited. Hey, look.
No. I don't want to look.
I want to, here is a hypothetical for you.
Okay. I'm locked in. I'm listening. I will watch all these matches, by the way. This is the first New Japan card I'm going to watch every single match.
I'm 100% watching all Wrestle Kingdom. Could, getting factions aside, could Great Khan and Shota Umino work as a tag team?
So that I don't have to see either of them wrestle? Yeah, sure. That would work great.
Well, my theory is 2 wrongs can make a right. And sometimes guys need to form a tag team, and maybe these 2 guys should.
Shooter. I don't care what he does. I don't want to see him.
Send him to
Great Khan. Yeah, you should send him to the Champion Carnival. He'd actually be a benefit to both of those blocks.
Wow.
And I don't like him. Oof. Tells you all you need to know. All right, anyway, move on to the next one. Sorry.
And then a singles match, Taichi versus Sonata. Obviously,
this is a real rivalry here, folks.
Speak on that, Scotty. Speak on
Japan. It. Also screams New Japan Cup first round.
If not first round, this feels like a round 2 or like a quarterfinal sort of thing here.
As always, I think Taichi should win. I know that he's not gonna, but he should. Sonata's he never got surgery, so he's just messed up forever, which is sad. So this probably won't be that great, but it's fine.
But it's Taichi. If anyone can bring it
out, it is Taichi, and I do love Taichi. It should be fine. It should be a fine match.
Yeah,
it's not going to get a lot of time.
No, and it shouldn't. 10 minutes tops, right?
Yeah. Which might be the sweet spot, honestly.
I agree. I mean, I think if anything, it could get 15 minutes if you look at it as like the main event of the pre-show, right? Before we
have they released the order of this card?
I assume this is the order. I do not know. I'm looking at this via Cage Match, not the website.
It is indeed the lineup.
Okay, perfect.
So yes.
If you see it as sort of like the main event of before the title matches, then maybe it could be 15, but 10 to 15, maybe 12.
The main event.
IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Title Match: Ichiban Sweet Boys, Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles versus Roppongi Revice, Rocky Romero and Yo.
I thought you said Revice on accident, and then I looked and I was like, oh, that's actually their name. This should be pretty good.
Yeah. This should be pretty good.
All right, man. No, I'm not going to sit here and let you talk up Drilla and then be like, oh, yeah, this.
I just no. Look, I don't care for Yo.
He's a fine tag wrestler.
Yeah,
that's his sweet spot.
I agree that he's a fine tag wrestler. I'm excited for this, but it's like,
no, you're not. You say, yeah. No, you're not excited for this.
I'm I'm in a 3.25 star rating.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for literally the first 5 matches of maybe not Togi and Hiroshi. I'm just gonna be happy to be there.
You're expecting that for Shooter versus Great Khan? It's 3.25.
No, I'm expecting 1. But okay, man, that should be their level. It's not, but it should be, you know? Oh, God. All right, let's get to the good stuff.
Never open weight title match. Konosuke Takeshita versus Oleg Boltin.
Takeshita has a fascinating week, by the way. Go to
Mhm.
Japan, then to Australia. Obviously Takeshita's winning, but this should be awesome.
Yeah.
Good chance this is my second favorite match of the show.
That's totally plausible. I'm very excited for this match. Takeshi's winning, right? I don't think that's any
Yeah,
sort of surprise
yeah.
to anybody. But I'm
Shout out to
fully
Oleg,
excited for
though.
this. This Oleg is in such a good spot. This company, this company can't wait to put the world title on Oleg Bolton.
Me too, man.
They have protected him his
Yeah, the
entire
best they
young
can.
lion experience, and then he becomes a trios champion with like freaking Tanahashi, and now he's in a never openly
Man.
title match versus arguably one of the best wrestlers on the roster, versus Konosuke Takeshita.
I would say Takeshita is 100% the best wrestler signed to New Japan right now.
Again, you can't discount Goto.
That's true. That's very true.
But Takeshita is like this. This is such a great spot for Bolton to be in, and this match doesn't have to be great, but I don't suspect to be bad because I think Takeshita.
I'm gonna elevate this to 4. I can already feel it.
You're
They're gonna hit
feeling
each other
a 4?
so hard. I'm gonna jump through my seat. It's gonna be everything. It's gonna be everything.
IWGP Tag Title match: the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, returning to defend their titles against the. Interesting. I guess the winners of the World Tag League, even though they cashed that in for Wrestle Dynasty, they now have a singles match, quote unquote. Here, Hiromu and Naito.
It was like a jump scare seeing the Young Bucks on here, by the way. I did not know they were on this show. I forgot they had belts. I forgot they existed.
I knew they were defending it here, but I did not know it was against Hiromu and Naito. And I am more interested in the junior heavyweight title match than this one.
That's insane.
Dude, it's Hiromu and Naito.
I know, but I will always have false hope. I'm always going to have false hope when I read their 2 names, okay?
Naito was the worst part of that 3-way at Wrestle Dynasty.
I know.
And now we're gonna take 2 people out, and he has to do more things.
I know, but he had like a month off.
It's good.
He had to wrestle back-to-back nights then.
He didn't have a month off. He worked the tour.
Did he though?
Good point.
Did he though? Did he do anything? No one saw the tour, so did he do anything?
If Naito falls in the forest, no one's around to hear it.
I think this match will be fine. I don't think it's gonna be great. I'm not gonna get crazy, but I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be passable. I think Hiromu will do a lot of the heavy lifting of getting beat up.
Yep.
And then Naito will get a hot tag, and then the Young Bucks will win.
You think the Young Bucks are winning?
Yeah, it's their first defense. Why put the belts on them if we're just gonna?
That's a great question, but it could easily just because.
I mean, it is New Japan. I know.
Yeah, it could easily just be because we could have the Young Bucks here.
You're not wrong. Are they ever gonna go back to work?
This is their work.
They never work in their actual company anymore.
Well, they only. I believe I saw an interview where they stopped working AEW in 2024 because their contract ran out of dates, which is fair because that's the contract.
If that's true, that's
totally plausible.
Insane.
What? They have a contract that has only a specific number of dates?
No, but that they ran out, so they just wrote them off.
What else are you gonna do? You can't. They
give
can't
them more. Pay them more money.
That's a Tony Khan issue. That's a contract that they agreed to.
It's called All Elite Wrestling. They have a faction called the Elite that was carrying storylines.
Well,
between the Elite and the Death Riders, we should really do a study of how terrible heel factions are in this company. Shout out to the Hurt Syndicate for changing things.
Well, they're the heel faction, but they're also getting cheered.
They're awesome,
constantly.
So everyone loves them. Yeah,
yeah.
It is a little different, I guess. You're right.
It's tough because it's as a heel faction, you want to get booed, but AEW is also built off the idea, basically, of a heel faction getting cheers. You know what I mean?
True.
It's built off the backs of the Bullet Club and the Elite to a certain extent.
Shout out to the Hurt Syndicate for getting the assignment.
Now, this is what we need. The Hurt Syndicate need a hand sign. They need a 2-sweet. They need something.
We actually need. It's not going to happen because both matches are on Tuesday. The Hurt Syndicate should take the IWGP tag titles too.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God! If Bobby Lashley and Shelton X Benjamin showed up here, I
Yeah.
would
They
rip
can't.
my shirt off.
They literally can't because they're defending against the Guns on Dynamite that day. But they should put a video up.
Not that day. It'd be the next day because this show's on Tuesday.
Yeah, but they're taping Dynamite Tuesday
Oh really? Oh
to
dang!
get to Australia.
It takes them how many days to get to Australia?
Man, I don't know. So I saw someone use that excuse. I was like, all right.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any
Well,
sense.
Australia's like a day ahead. So
Okay, so it takes them 2 days to. I guess
we'll get prepared and I don't know. Leave me alone.
I guess it's like 14, 16 hours, some shit like
Guys, I'm leaving the show. I'm getting bullied. I don't know.
that. All right, this match will suck. Anyways, IWGP Global.
Whoa. I don't think it will suck.
I think it's gonna be boring.
You
I
can't
honestly
say this is no. I'm not gonna let you say this will suck and then talk up Drilla Maloney. I'm not gonna have this. We're not doing this.
I thought I like Drill Maloney is just.
I'm gonna keep going back to it, man.
Drill Maloney is New Japan Zion Quinn. I think we can all agree.
Yep, we're gonna run with it. You said it, not me.
IWGP Global Heavyweight Title match: Yota Tsuji versus Gabe Kidd.
This is a fascinating one, huh? Because like obviously Yota Tsuji needs to win.
Yeah,
Some would argue Gabe Kidd needs to win.
Yeah.
I'm shocked they went to this quickly.
I agree.
Really?
It's a tough spot, right? I wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe you put the title on Gabe Kidd. I mean, I agree that Tsuji should maybe keep the title and have it a little bit longer, but
have it a little bit longer. He hasn't had it. He just got it.
He got it and then had one defense, right? At Wrestle Dynasty against Jack Perry.
No. Is Drilla Maloney New Japan's Jack Perry?
No, no, I disagree.
You will not allow that one.
No,
that was too far.
Too far.
That's
too far.
Now Drilla Maloney wishes he was in the House of Torture. I miss him.
He's
I know what he's staying at home. Company. He's staying at home. He needs to be a trophy husband.
With his hot wife and sleeping on the couch.
I miss the big man.
Yeah,
I'm the only person that's ever said that on a podcast, but I'm going to keep saying it.
I believe Tsuji should retain the title. I also believe Gabe Kidd should win the title. A great predicament. Yeah, a great predicament.
That is where you're at for sure with this match. It's a fascinating match in that way.
I think this match to me also reads New Japan Cup. Something about Gabe Kidd as a New Japan Cup winner. Hold on, think about that for a second. Gabe Kidd as a New Japan Cup winner. I
don't think that's going to happen. I think David Finlay is primed for that spot because he's gone away.
David Finlay not even on this card, by the way.
Yeah, so I think David Finlay's primed to get that. I mean, it's going to be a fascinating match and how you go about it and what the follow points are for both of them, right? If whoever loses, where do you go? That's kind of the story, I think. And I'm going to assume Gabe's losing. I don't think they're going to do a flip-flop of the title here. I think they want to give Tsuji a strong reign. I think it's smart to give Tsuji a strong reign. Could Yuya Uemura be coming back soon? Another question for this title, because it did seem like Tsuji kind of fit into his spot at Wrestle Kingdom. So I think that's the New Japan Cup could be fascinating this year. Will be fascinating this year because there's potential returns. They like to debut people there. That's usually where they do the big debuts. David Finlay's been missing. I know people think he's going to WWE. He's not. So yeah, I'm very interested and I'm excited. This match, I don't know what this match is going to look like if they hit the 15 sweet spot and we don't go too long. Because I don't think either of them should go too long. Because I know people would be like, well, Gabe Kidd went 30 minutes. I was like, okay, he did it with Kenny Omega.
Yeah, these are two guys that I don't think they're both at the stage where they can have a great main event, 30-minute main event match by themselves yet. Tsuji, we've talked about with Big Match Tsuji about concerns there. Gabe Kidd, a guy that has also at times tried a little way too hard. So this easily, Scotty, could be not necessarily a recipe for disaster, but this match could also be an issue, right? Of just two guys that just like aren't going to necessarily work together.
Yeah, I don't know how these two mesh. So like I don't know what this match can be. I have more confidence in Takeshi and Oleg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny enough, because I've seen the match. They had a great match in the G1.
Yeah.
Right. So it's fascinating. I know a lot of people are excited for this match. I think again, this is kind of looking at your future right here. This is massive. But ultimately we're all here for one thing and one thing only, and that's
Before we
the
get to
main
that, before we get to the main event, this match, I think what we're saying, quality wise, I think it's a coin flip. This match can either be great or just like fine, solid.
Obviously, you
That's
hope it's
not work.
great.
Obviously,
Like,
we hope it's great.
I don't know if it needs to be great because I think they both have the momentum that they'll be fine.
Yes.
But it is Tsuji, to me, his first true defense. And to me, it's also Gabe's first big match since the Kenny thing. So they might need great performances.
Yeah. And I also think if you want to look at the cup thing, to me, this is like a Final Four match. You could have Gabe Kidd lose here. You know, if you're saying that, like,
Sure.
I think Tsuji should win here, but I think Gabe Kidd should also win here. Gabe Kidd can lose here. He could win in like a Final Four match or something against Tsuji.
Final 8, Final 4.
Yeah, in the New Japan Cup, and then beat Tsuji for the title at, I guess it would be Dominion. No, I think it'd be something before Dontaku. Yeah, it'd be something before Dominion, right? You could go as far as that. Obviously, I think the Yu Uemura stuff, whenever he pops up, which would, I think sometime this summer, assumingly, that might throw a little bit of all this stuff off, a little wrench and all these sort of things. But like that could give enough time. You could throw another defense or two on Tsuji's reign before Gabe Kidd potentially win. So that could be a good spot.
It was said to be 6 months back in September for Yuya.
So, October, November, December, January, February, March, Japan Cup.
Yeah. And he got hurt at the beginning of September. So
yeah, so we'll see. I mean, there's also an argument to like just not using him in the New Japan Cup and just save him. But yeah, that's a wait and see sort of situation. Yeah, and then like you said, Scotty, none of this actually matters because the true main event, the true draw of this fucking show, the G and IWGP World Heavyweight Champion stands for none other than Hiroki Goto, because it is Hiroki Goto challenging for the Zack Sabre Jr.'s IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Scotty, I know your hands are together in prayer fashion. I could see the waterfall falling behind you. I can see you slipping on the ice. I can see you slipping on the snowy waterfall. I am so excited for this match. We've been talking about it for a while. Legitimately, I don't see any reason to not to put the title on Hiroki Goto.
Yeah.
Zack Sabre Jr. has had a solid reign. The big talking points, obviously, I think the big they like to give their champions a lot of accolades. A big accolade is being the main event as a Westerner for 2 dome shows. Sure. He has that now. He doesn't necessarily need the world title anymore. If you want to look at ticket sales, all those things like that, this show sold out on pretty much the back, in my opinion, of Hiroki fucking Goto. Hiroki Goto's story is obviously super over for the audience for New Japan, both on a home base front and a Western front. We can finally unite the New Japan fandom because they've been fractured in 2024 so poorly. There is no reason not to put the title on Goto. Scotty, why is Zack Sabre Jr. going to win here?
If Zack Sabre Jr. wins this match, I'm done with Puro.
Oh, Puro!
I'm done.
What did Noah do here? What did Ozawa do? You're getting strays for no reason.
There is no reason Hiroki Goto should lose this match. Zero. None. He is the very clear answer to what New Japan needs right now. Not only a feel-good story, but a guy that has kept going, kept grinding, kept working to get here. He has failed so many times before. The people are invested in this man, whether it be Western fans, whether it be Japanese fans. Everyone is on the back of Goto here.
Mhm.
No one gives a shit who he's facing. That's the facts here, folks. That's how it feels. If you asked me who was in this match 5 years down the line, I wouldn't care, because Hiroki Goto is winning this belt, because the G in IWGP does stand for Goto. Finally, it has to happen. When this show sold out in seconds, I don't care if it wasn't the plan then, it has to be the plan now.
Yep.
The kids are going to be in the building. Everyone's going to be in the building. I don't care if the title reign fucking lasts 3 months, 1 month. I don't give a shit.
I think whoever wins the New Japan Cup is beating Goto if he wins.
Probably, you're right.
And it could be Finlay. And it should be Finlay. It should be Finlay.
I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
I just want the title win. That's all I want. Put this show's legacy on the line. We will never talk Puro again, because I will stop watching it if this man loses. I'll talk about it next week because we're going to review the show. But
we got to review the show to have that thing to happen.
There is not a match outside of the Joshi sphere that I've given a shit about more than this one. Well, and the Royal Rumble, but that we're on a bad track record right now, folks. We're on a bad track record. I want for one time, just one time, just one time, Gato. Have the balls to do the right thing, man. There's no reason Zack Sabre Jr. should hold this title after the show.
Yeah.
Not a single reason. He's had the run. He's had the Dome main event. He's had the defenses.
Mm-hmm. How many defenses truly has he had? Let's see.
Give the belt to Goto. Everyone wants him to win.
He's had 4 defenses. Obviously, 2 of those in the Dome.
That's a fine first reign. I'm sure he can get it back. Whatever. I don't want him to.
118 days, and he's still going to come. Obviously, 120. We're looking at probably 120. Yeah,
it's a fine reign. But he should absolutely lose this belt.
Now's a good time to lose that belt.
And by proxy, you make the Rambo useful. By the way, that's how we got here. Just
good
saying.
Good point.
But I firmly believe there is not a decision that makes more sense, perhaps this year in wrestling, than this one.
Yeah,
it's simple. It's right there. The way he has built this up.
It has been the Jenga tower of wrestling booking has been properly put up. Zack Sabre Jr. has a solid title reign. Having Goto win here makes Zack Sabre Jr. winning it Sakura Genesis before Wrestle Kingdom make more sense. Zack Sabre Jr. able to have 4 defenses. 5. This will be his 5th defense, right, of the IWGP Global Heavyweight title. He gets the accolade, something that Gato loves to do for his champions, is give them some sort of accolade. 2 Dome main events for a Westerner. That's a record for Zack Sabre Jr. that he can now hold. You've had a nice little test run, and more importantly, an elevation for a guy like Zack Sabre Jr. in this company. You've had in the background a year-long story of 2024, one of the most over stories of 2024 being Goto and him trying to get these big-time wins. And the irony, Scotty, of Goto winning this title and then losing it, in my opinion, to what should be, in my opinion, David Finlay winning the New Japan Cup and beating Goto, the irony is perfect. The dramatic irony there is perfect. Goto losing to the New Japan Cup winner, that is David Finlay. That works perfectly. You establish the Rambo gimmick here as well, which would be great, which is a good thing to do for that, a good bit of business for that. You have David Finlay, the top heel, beat arguably one of the top baby faces in the company, that perfectly works as
Right
well.
now, he's the top babyface.
Yeah, to a large extent, he is the top babyface in this company. Have David Finlay beat him by winning New Japan Cup. That works as well. That's a good bit of business. Maybe Goto. I don't even think Goto should have a successful title defense. I think he should lose.
All right, man. Hold on.
He'll probably have, I assume, a title defense at the New Japan Cup finals.
So there's a reality we have to think about here.
It
Right?
should be Goto versus Yoshihashi. That'd be hilarious. But
If
go
this
ahead.
man is selling tickets,
Yes.
which he has. If you're New Japan, I mean, other considerations come in after that, right? Again, I just need him to get the belt first before I even consider anything else. Like I can't even think about a reign because we've been here before.
That is
right? We've been here with Goto.
That is a good point of like, if he is selling tickets and he is a true draw as a world hit champion, then don't have Goto lose. Then,
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain extent, obviously, I think the money here is in the chase, right?
Of course.
No, so it's a matter of, will there be money after the fact? Maybe that is why you have David Finlay beat Goto immediately, because then you have the money back in the chase, right?
Sure.
For Goto to get back to it. Now that like he's seen as an elevated actual world title holder. I don't know. All I know is that Goto really should win here. I don't think there's any reason
That's the most important part.
Yeah, whatever happens after the fact is whatever happens after the fact. And we'll get there when we get there. But Goto winning here makes full sense. Everything lines up perfectly for Goto to get a win here. New Japan has not been afraid to not pull in these things. Look at Naito Okada, right? In the Dome many moons ago.
But if it doesn't happen now, it's never happening.
Correct. I think the difference is if it's not happening here, it's never happening. It dies here if Goto loses. And I think it would be a mistake business-wise. There is an argument, Scotty, where it's a mistake business-wise to have Goto lose here.
You know what's we're going to know what New Japan is moving forward based on this show. Are they the New Japan from the beginning of last year that was hot-shotting Nick Nemeth and Matt Riddle still, right? Instead of building their own stars. Or are they a New Japan company? Wait. Are they a New Japan? Wait. Or are they a New Japan company that wants to give the fans what they want? Now, the worst case or best case, however you say it. Also, I think they might just announce New Japan Cup like randomly midweek, by the way. I'm remembering. I think like that's like a thing they do. They're like, here's the bracket. Oh, okay. Anyways, there is a two-piecer here, right? There is a reality where Hiroki Goto loses and they announce like fucking Baron Corbin is coming in. And then there is another one where there is Hiroki Goto wins. They don't announce anything. And we're all just happy. And then there's a middle ground, I'm sure, for New Japan fans where they do both. But I think Goto's win powers through anything that it doesn't matter. Goto's win, like you said earlier, will be the most united New Japan fans worldwide have been in forever.
Since Okada was in this company. Basically.
Yeah, since Okada was at the top of this company.
Yeah, and years.
Like bullying Kaito Kiyomiya. You know, like that. New Japan fans were united for that.
That's true.
It just needs to happen. And I'm scared. It's legitimately a match I refuse to be spoiled on. I will not be spoiled going in. I will watch it. I will live and die with Hiroki Goto. I just hope he wins. I just hope he wins.
I agree.
You better hope he wins, because boy, oh boy, this show is about to change dramatically if he loses.
Doing
Puro segments, and I'll just be like,
what a threat you have given to this entire concept of our show.
Listen, Gato, I have to threat. You know, that's the only way I can get Goto as my world champion.
And Gato is a listener. We should make that clear.
Yeah, obviously. Why do you think I talk about evil so much?
what do you think? Why do we think we talk about Evil so much and he gets pushed so well? It's because of this, because of us, baby.
Welcome everybody.
Yeah, I think this show has potential to be a really, really good, if not great, show overall. And the main event, Goto has to win. I know there's a
show of the year if Goto wins.
I think that's plausible. I know that there's a total possibility of us setting ourselves up for failure.
100%.
But I also think it would be like there's just I think it's like I said, it's I think a wrong fan move, bad business move, bad booking move for Goto to lose. I think as we have laid out here, it is bad moves to not have Goto lose. For Zack Sabre Jr. to win, I think the crowd will turn on Zack Sabre Jr. Or maybe not the crowd, but I think a section of the fans will turn on Zack Sabre Jr. And that's not what you want either. So
if Zack Sabre Jr. wins this, I need David Finlay to fold this man in seconds. Or Evil.
If Zack Sabre Jr. wins this, we'll have discussions about the cup, I guess, but and why it should be Baron Corbin. Anyways, let's talk about Noah. Speaking of Hero, before we go here, Noah has a big time show, Star Navigation Premium, same day as New Beginning Osaka. They have a big time show here.
Sold out Corkin.
Yes, this is a Corkin Hall show, sold out. It's a big time show for them.
Sold Pro Wrestling. Shout out to the champ.
I'll go through the card here real quick, and you can point out anything that looks interesting, or we'll talk about the main event when it gets to the main event.
Don't worry, I won't be talking too much.
No, I don't think you will either. There's a dark match: Amakusa and Junta Miyawaki versus Zozaya and Anthony Green. Interesting tag group there.
There's a dark match.
Yeah, there's a dark match. I don't know. It's probably just a pre-show, really. A single match here. Ki Hiroto versus Owada-san.
It's just Owada.
Yeah.
That's his thing. Yeah.
6-man tag team match. Naomichi Marufuji, Takeshi Segura, Kazuyuki Fujita versus Masa Kiyomiya, Oka Sasaki, and Shuji Kondo.
Okay. That's a little
sexy.
All right. I'm not against that whatsoever.
The Noah Junior Tag League also begins here. So we have the B block match here. Atsushi Katoge versus Hajime Ohara. And Hajime Ohara versus Tadasuke and Yoto Kikuchi. We also have an A block match here. Hayata and Yohei versus.
Oh, this might be the worst match of all time.
Versus Mark True and Kieran Lacey. They are a Rev Pro tag team. I don't remember their name.
Say it with me, people in the back. Who?
They're fine. They're super young, I should say. They are like extremely young. They're like sub 20, maybe. I think they're like. Say 18.
With me for the people in the back. Who?
But who? Well, you can find out now on Noah Star.
There's no way I watched that match. You know it.
Yeah, you said, but then you say who? And it's like, here's an opportunity to learn, Scotty, and you don't want to know. You don't want to learn.
They're facing Hayata.
Yeah, that's a good.
I don't want to learn,
Scotty.
Dude.
That's a great point. GHC National Championship match. Tetsuya Endo defending his title that he won against Manabu Soya. So a nice little rematch here for the National Championship over here. This picture of Tetsuya Endo, he looks like the oldest man in the world. This profile picture looks bad. But him versus Manabu Soya, the match was good the first time around, so I suspect that this will also be a good match here. No junior tag team match, A block as well. Alejandro and Kai Fujimura versus Aita and Daiki Yodoshima. A special tag match here.
This is why I'm here.
Kano and Kenta teaming up finally versus Kaito Kiyomiya and the Pin Eater, Shuhei Taniguchi.
And he dropped the belt. He dropped the Defy belt. He's back. Kenta's back. This
feels like Kenta in Noah, and I am excited.
I'm already having Kenta kick Ozawa's head in. I'm not even hiding it. I don't care.
Ozawa's head? Hold on. Hold it. You want to go for the title?
Oh, yeah, I sure do. Kenta and Noah is a different man, okay? He may be broken down. He may not move like he used to, but he hits hard, and he's Kenta.
And he plays hard.
Please, sorry. Keno and Kent are definitely winning the tag belts.
Who are the tag champions right now? Is it still?
It's a great question.
Is it still Marufuji?
No. Oh, they're vacant because Almost got rid of them.
Oh yes. Because almost gave it to Daga, and then Noah
And then
was
they're
like,
no.
"No, no, that's
And
not
then they had to
happening."
go. Then they both had to leave because they actually had to get their visas.
Yeah,
Like they're not here right now, so they're like, yeah, no.
yeah. So I guess we'll see what
So
happens.
yeah, we can get Kento and Keno would be champs.
Yeah.
Who says no?
I don't. So yeah, this should be a
Also,
good
they're
match.
facing two great guys, by the way.
Also, should,
Taniguchi, good. Kaito, duh.
I love the idea of Taniguchi in here to eat the pin, and then Kaito gets pinned. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. Just like almost, just like, oh, we're gonna pin
That's
Kaito.
kind of
Why? Why are we gonna pin Kaito?
We're
Anyways,
gonna pick Kaito while you're leaving.
exactly. Uh, anyways, the main event as well is the GHC heavyweight title match. Ozawa defending against Galeno, formerly, of
Wish I had
course, Galeno
sunglasses.
Demal. What's that?
I wish I had sunglasses. I could be like Ozawa.
Like that?
Ozawa might be the only thing that keeps me going if Goto loses in Puro. Not even kidding.
And you want his head kicked in by by Kenta?
Well, yeah, because Kenta. Listen, if Kenta's here, then yes.
Yeah.
I don't even need Kenta doesn't need to do house shows. She's got to be here for the Corkins and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is I think a pretty solid show. Obviously, a lot of it is the junior tag matches, which people can
Is he
certainly.
just Galeno now?
Yes, he's just Galeno because he's part of the babyface faction, All Rebellion. So he's just Galeno.
Can't be Delmal. That makes sense.
Yeah, so the main event, the semi-main event looked pretty good. I'm excited as well for the national championship match because the first match was pretty good, and beyond that, that big boy 6-man tag match also looks good. So if you want to,
so
yeah, it's sold out. I'm like I said, I'm probably skipping the junior tags and the single, all those stuff to open the show.
I don't watch normal tag leagues.
But
you want me to watch Noah's junior tag league?
The matches I will be watching, the 4 or 5 matches I am watching, I'm definitely excited for. I think all of them look really, really good. Ozawa 100% retaining his titles, and I think Kano and Kenta are definitely winning as well. I suspect Endo is also retaining. So I'm excited. I think a solid show. Obviously, the lesser of 2 shows on Tuesday in Japan, in the Puro world, but we'll talk about it all next week when we review both of those shows, along with AEW Grand Slam Australia. So, Scotty, that is it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Before we go, give us some plugs. Give us your match of the week.
Let's go shovel. Fuck my life.
And you have to go shovel snow, and I'll go cut the grass.
What a fascinating world. Climate's fun. Or something. Just broke Ryan. 1 second. Let me just get my stuff here. I gotta get my
climate change. Never heard of it, Scotty. never heard of it.
Okay, so everyone listening, hello everybody. If you're looking for content from me, I have Joshi shows. I got Joshi newsletters. I got a Joshi YouTube channel. I don't got much of anything else. However, that's when I do the plug. The JoshiInformer.substack.com.
Yep.
That's the new project, the new weekly project. Everything you need to know in the world of Joshi is right there in that Substack. In that newsletter, it is something that kind of just came together over the past couple weeks after a certain someone had the audacity to say if they were a fan of professional women's wrestling, you'd like it more. And then he had the audacity then to hit a 5-star match the same week I was releasing it. But yeah, I'm very proud of it. I have the right people helping me out do it. So it's something that I think a lot of people should 100% check out if you're interested in Joshi, if you want to follow Joshi. The first newsletter is up. It is free, available to all. We're already working on the second one. A lot's going on in the world of Joshi, so it should be another packed newsletter. I'm very proud of it. So please go check that out. Subscribe to it. Do anything you can. Any support means a lot. Like I said, check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/at Scott E Wrestling. My Joshi podcast is there. Other videos I do there are over there as well. So definitely check that out. And in terms of match of the week, I watched a lot of wrestling this week, but not a lot of it stood out. I know what your match of the week is, so I'm not going to take it because I'm not a jerk.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. So I'm going to pick. Oh shit. I saw a lot of like 3 3/4 matches, so I'm just kind of deciding like which one did I like the most.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Yuzuki versus Misa Matsui from Mari Gold, because if I said CM Punk versus Sami Zayn, what would that do for anyone? You don't need me to tell you that they had a good match.
But the Yuzuki, I saw good things. I saw it was like a cage match comment that said it was like one of the better, it might possibly one of the best Superfly title matches.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably maybe best or second best. Yeah, it was very good, very good in Shinjuku Face. I like Shinjuku Face as a venue, so that was good. So that would be my recommendation of the week. And overall, it was a good week of wrestling. Just nothing like big standout matches. Just a lot of like, oh, that was good, that was good, that was good. So that was kind of my difficulty there. I only hit 4 once, and that's for your match. So you can take it.
Yeah, there was a lot of really good matches. Like I thought that Dragon Gate 6-man was really good.
Yeah.
That was really good, but nothing like nothing that really ultimately was like, oh yeah, Ricochet versus Swerve. I thought that was great, right? I thought that was also a good match. We didn't even talk about like Deadlock Pro. I watched Title Fight in Texas, and I thought the match between Blackwood and Priest was really great. That was a eliminator, I think, for the national title.
I almost said Stephanie Vercare versus JC Jane.
Oh, bold.
I'm not kidding.
My match of the week is, of course, going to be from New Japan's Road to New Beginning Night 7, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match between El Desperado and Kosei Fujita. This match was great. I went 4.25 stars on it, Scotty. Legitimately great match. A lot of ways, in its own way, but a lot of ways what I was sort of hoping for the Doki Despy match from Wrestle Kingdom. Obviously, I think the styles are obviously different, but in terms of that peak, I think it could have been a similar peak. Despy is great. He is one of the best.
Hot take.
Hot take. But underrated take. Like I think he's like sneakily one of the best roster members of New Japan for the past 5 years. I have my ratings nonsense, right? My rating notebook thing. Do I have like a I call it the Hall of Fame section, right? Do you know I have this? I legitimately have Despy as having a great wrestling year for the past 4 years, and then a really good one in 2020.
Did you see his upcoming match?
Despy?
Yeah.
Who's it against?
1 second. Continue on your rival for him.
I think he's really great. I think, if you want the hot take from me on Despy, Scotty, I think Despy is more the continuation of Liger and his greatness than Hiromu. I think Despy has moved that torch more than Hiromu has. I think Despy is legitimately an underrated, great roster member of New Japan. Fujita, great match, proved his style of wrestling, that Zack Sabre Jr. British style in the puro sense.
I got the match, by the way.
Works really well for Fujita. I think this match extremely proves why he has all the potential in the world to be the next big guy for the junior division. I don't think he is going to be mover and shaker per se as a whole, New Japan. I don't think that's like a peak thing for him. I don't think he's main eventing as the IWGP Junior Heavyweight in the Dome or anything like that. I think that's a crazy thing that some people I have heard say. because I don't think any junior has main evented the Dome. So why would anyone say that? But I think he has, in terms of the junior division, all the potential in the world to be like the next big thing. And this match proved it. The fact that he can live up to Despy and have such a great underdog match with Despy in a sense was fantastic. So
to be fair, I don't agree with you on Despy overall. I mean, he's the guy that I always look forward to his big matches. Obviously, last year was just he was hurt, so I think it can be kind of forgotten. But I think he's been the best junior in New Japan for quite some time now. It just took a long time for them to give him the accolades to match it. So I'm with you there, 100%. So his match that I was talking about. So Barb Sasaki, referee, if you don't know him, he does, a lot of deathmatch promotions. He does Stardom. He's a pretty famous referee in Japan. He does a lot of shows. So he's holding a 25th anniversary show at Cork and Hall, yes, as a referee. And it's called Crazy Fest. The match, which will be the main event of this show, Cork and Hall, is a 3-way death match.
Great.
El Desperado versus Masashi Takeda versus Jun Kasai.
Woo! Remember they had that 5-star match a couple of years ago? I think it was 5 stars. Is what I gave it.
Yep. That show also has Rina Yamashita versus Suzuki in a TLC match.
Thumbtacks, light tubes.
It actually is, to be exact, a no DQ death match, and no DQ TLC match, and I said, why would there be DQs? TLC match.
You hit with one chair, you're out. Match is over. Calling it off.
Yeah, it's a show.
Yeah.
It's a show.
Yeah, Despy's so great. I think legitimately great and underrated in a lot of ways. But
I agree.
He is somebody that he's never been on the Observer Hall of Fame, and honestly, I don't think he ever will. But such an underrated guy, and one of the reasons I don't think he ever will is that I think his career is almost peaking right now. It feels like he's older and it's really the past 4 or 5 years where it's been really great. So I don't suspect that he would ever get on the sort of ballot for the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, but I would consider it. I would 100% consider it. And maybe we'll discuss it about him on a future episode of the ballot if he ever pops up. But we do, Scotty, have another new episode of the ballot coming up this week where we discuss someone who is actually new to the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame ballot. This Wednesday, we'll have the second episode of this season's ballot series discussing Los Infernales from the Mexico region. We're talking the trios team of El Santanico, MS1, and Prata Morgan. Our guest on the show, already recorded, is going to be 2 of the guys from the Club Lucha podcast.
Right.
Foos and Floke are joining me to discuss Los Infernales. So they have a great podcast discussing Lucha Libre Wrestling. Brought them on to discuss Los Infernales. So go check that out. That's going to come out this Wednesday. Also this Wednesday, I guessed it. I was told it's going to come out this Wednesday. I presume it will. This Wednesday is going to be my guest spot on the Apron Bump podcast with Kyle. He was somebody on the ballot last season.
Did you have to take a bump?
I did not take a bump, so that's good. But what his show is that he goes through chronologically various pay-per-views for various different promotions at various different points in history. So he has going through Ring of Honor. He is going through WWE, WF. He's going through various basically American promotions. I think TNA. I think he's also going through very different points in the chronology of their history. So it's nice to get also in context. But I was tasked with reviewing In Your House 14, which was a very interesting show. Not necessarily a good show, but a lot of great talking points, Scotty. Talking points such as Mankind versus The Undertaker in a great match for the WWF title. The main event being Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart in their third match in their match, Scotty, following WrestleMania 13 if I recall correctly. The famous Stone Cold Bret Hart match. So Bret Hart is now firmly a heel in this In Your House show. A weird ass undercard.
Bad matches on this show.
Yeah. So you can hear all of that discussion. A really good discussion. Not just about like the wrestling itself, but about like the overall landscape of WF at that time. Because they
watch Road Dogg versus Billy Gunn.
Oh, Rockabilly? Yeah, we talked about it. There's also another thing I want to talk about. Another talking point was this was, if you know the story, and I discussed on the show, the infamous point in time where Vader was supposed to be on the show. Big Van Vader was supposed to be on this In Your House show. But sadly, he was arrested in Kuwait and unable to make the card. So I discussed that. It was fun, Scotty, because Kyle didn't know the story, and I told him the story live on air. What a good moment for me. So check that out. Apron Bump podcast talking about In Your House 14. I'll be on that show this Wednesday. The ballot with me and Foose and Floke from Club Lucha on Los Infernales is out this Wednesday. And yeah, check out the Joshi Informer as well. Really good read. Not only news and reviews, but also I think a very valuable resource because they also got a schedule of shows for the future. For Joshi wrestling, which, you know, I think Joshi wrestling is a little sometimes very difficult to follow those big time shows. Not even I think the big time shows to a certain extent are easier. The smaller shows are very difficult. So I think it's a good resource as well, not just in getting the news and reviews, but getting those sort of schedule as well. So a lot of plugs from me and a lot of matches of the weeks to discuss. So that is it. The ballot with Club Lucha, Apron Bump, Joshi Informer, all the other things that we talk about. El Desperado is great. Next week, we will be back discussing Grand Slam Australia, New Beginning Osaka, and of course, Goto's title win.
The episode The Death of Puro if he loses.
Star Navigation Premium. And I think that's all that we're basically reviewing. I don't think we're actually previewing anything next week. No, because we would be, I think technically we would be previewing. Oh, but there's a Deadlock Pro that day. So we could preview that, I think, technically. I guess also technically, Scotty, we would be previewing Fantastica Mania, but sadly we can't. We can't preview the first couple nights of Fantastica Mania.
Doom.
That gets a big doom from us. So until next week, I love Eternal Pure just showed up and we're signing off. We'll see you all next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Get the graphic up.